Good morning, world.
Good morning out there. Well, we have a very special show today on Cedric and Brian. We have a very special friend of Brian's who is joining us today, Mr. Kenny, and they've been friends since they were in middle school, 11 years old, back when I think Abraham Lincoln first took office.
Whatever.
So they've been friends forever. But before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and share our video with everyone you know. I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian, and this is Cedric and Brian. Cedric asked me this a while back, and people are probably asking because if you saw our past episodes, we had Isaac on, and Cedric goes, "Do you have any white friends?"
I don't think you do. I don't think you do. I'm trying too hard.
I do. In fact, when you see the pictures, I'm gonna go through. So I've known Kenny since we were about 11 years old. Kenny, in our class, at least I think in junior high, you were the only black male in our class, right?
God, is that news to you?
I didn't even know that.
Take it. Brian brings up stuff like that.
He doesn't see color.
That's right, exactly.
Well, Brian's like, how can I raise up my cool point quota? I'll befriend the black guy.
I don't think Kenny befriended me until he met my sister, and then he said, "Okay, well,
That could be true.
maybe I'll hang out with this guy
That
too."
could be true.
So, anyways, little memory lane. We had nicknames for each other. We'll go through that in a second. But Kenny, do you recognize this picture here?
Oh,
What was that?
man. Oh, no. Look at that hair.
Which one of these is not like the other?
So we did have a friend, Greg Gomez. I think he's up there. He's the closest to your shade.
Yeah.
Is that Kenny or is that Tito or Jermaine or one of them?
But can you find me?
Oh,
Can
gee.
you find me in that picture?
Where's the towhead?
Yeah, look,
yeah.
look to okay. So Kenny is 64. You know, you can tell we're both really big guys.
What were they thinking?
And I was 62. We were both linemen.
I don't get that. Oh, well.
You can see why we didn't win many games. But there you are. On the front row means we're the smallest on the team, yet they gave us lineman or linebacker numbers. So
Because we were the toughest.
maybe you might have been back then. I wasn't. So then we grew up a little bit. There's our freshman year in high school. Again,
God.
as Cedric says, who doesn't fit in there? You have to look careful to see Kenny. Luckily, he was smiling.
Great, it's in black. It's in black and white.
They put me in the shade.
There he is. So I'll position it there. And
Oh, my God.
Listen to the program at 5'9", but actually 5'2".
yeah. So Kenny's at the bottom. He's still one of the smallest. I kind of grew a little bit, I guess, because now I was in the third row. I'm number 24 in this, so they finally gave me a number that wasn't a lineman.
Yeah.
To answer your question, most everybody at our school was white. In our class that we graduated with, I think Kenny at this point was still the only black guy.
Wow, man. I feel special.
All right.
See, he's surprised. He doesn't even realize it. Now look, Kenny's not alone.
Oh,
Kenny's in the second row. He's grown.
Second row.
And Onassis Nixon down there, so they were 31 and 21. I don't know if you picked those numbers to be on
No.
purpose.
No.
So, and I had to switch to 30 on that one. So I'm in the far left with, again, the bad haircut.
Which number are you, Brian?
I'm 30. I'm next to the coach who doesn't want to stand next to me.
Oh, God. Overrated.
If you can zoom in on that picture, that just screams active shooter in the making.
Whatever.
All the makings
Check
of
this
it.
out.
Oh yeah, that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So we just got lucky in the year, but Kenny and I just happened to be.
What's that under your
each
nose?
other.
Is that
That was my porn stash of the day.
here? Bow.
think
Wow, wow.
And Kenny had a little stash too, man. You know, this was the early 80s, man. You had to have a stash in the day.
Quite the jaw there. Wow.
Look how tough you look, man. It's a wrestler's neck.
Yeah. Oh, now we're talking.
There we go. There we go.
Yes.
That was we were a little older. We were working together, I think, at my dad's place at that time.
Yeah.
And we bought a boat together, this little 14-foot. But Kenny still had the.
So, is that your normal picture where you do like 30 push-ups before you took the picture, or?
Now back then we didn't have to.
Okay, you
we
didn't do
were
that.
natural like
We
that.
trained, man. Yeah.
And Kenny had the V, so the V back.
Oh,
And you notice it's funny, Kenny's hair got shorter as
Yeah, I
the
know.
came on.
Shoulders got wider, the hair got shorter.
And then this was on I think my 50th birthday, right? You came, you surprised me.
Yeah.
So you can see we're hair's even shorter, a little grayer. So those of you who wanted to see what I look like without a beard, there you go. There's your history in the making. Then we all went to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny and Cedric got chicken and waffles.
Well, they didn't have any shepherd's pie for you, so. Any Jello molds.
How cliche. And then that was all of us. We just got back from Nashville. So me and Kenny have known each other even longer than Cedric and I have known each other.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so
I know.
You're a
It's
good man.
a burden I've been carrying for a long
Lord
time.
knows I've been thinking, how do I get out of this?
70s.
You're not.
It's like being part of the mafia.
You've replaced me. I want you to know that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Yeah, as people say, I got to prove I'm not a racist. I got to make sure I have one. That's what they tell me. But yeah, so me and you have known each other since basically 1976. So our bicentennial. I think that's when we were in junior high.
Wow.
And then we've known each other since 2000. So, wow. Crazy. Anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. I just wanted to get a quick rundown.
A little background.
Introduce. So, look at this, Kenny. So this was our Letterman's jacket, and you can see right here, I was known as JB, and we were part of the Oreo Bros. So I should probably be sitting in between those, because in high school,
More appropriate, yes.
in high school, I was the white stuffing inside.
He used the wrong pronoun. He didn't mean those. He meant them. You should use the right pronoun.
And the JB stands for. So back in those days, you didn't get canceled. So our friend Patrick, who still tries to deny it,
Yeah.
he gave me the nickname. He came from New York, and he found out that I was Jewish. My mom's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of called me Jew boy. That's what New Yorkers did back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And these guys shortened it to JB. So I was JB.
I thought it stood for like Jew and black.
No, just Jew
No?
boy.
Okay.
No.
All right.
He was KC, and then our other friend was Roach, Pat Roche.
Yeah.
Pat, if
Roachy.
you're watching. So Roachy. So anyways, we could do that back then.
Yeah.
Easily.
Easily.
We
So
didn't even think about it.
no.
What about our friend Zipperhead? Remember Zipperhead?
No.
Koga?
Oh, did you call him Zipperhead?
Yeah.
I didn't know you called Koga Zipperhead.
called him
I would have
Zipperhead.
never done that.
Oh, yeah. Sure you didn't come up with it.
All right. So
What's today's topic?
anyways, today's topic. So what's in the news? We kind of discussed it. What should we talk about? I gave a list to Kenny, and I put the screenshot up here. Here's all the things he wanted to talk about, and there's like 150. But Kenny, we got to narrow this down.
We've already done 150 videos.
I was venting.
She's trying to comprise 150 videos into one segment, so we got to get to the wineries. Come on, we got to do some stuff today.
All right. So we said what's in the news. So of course another shooting of an innocent black person, right? So you've heard that story. The 16-year-old got shot by the cop. But look at this picture. She was trying to stab somebody with a pretty big knife.
Yeah.
That's like on the Michael Myers tip. That's a serious knife.
Yeah. So, and this is from the footage from the police officer's what do they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah, body cam.
Body cam. So everybody was trying to get all the networks were trying to say, oh, another black person killed by a racist cop. But you can see that knife, and as that progresses, because I'm not going to show you, you've probably seen it a million times, that knife's going right towards that girl's head when she gets shot.
Right. Well, if I understand, from the point where the officer arrived on the scene to where the stabbing took place, took 9 seconds.
Yeah.
So he had 9 seconds to make a decision. Do I try and, as a lot of people say, talk this person down? Or do I fire a shot in the air to distract her? Yeah. Or what do I do? And
As Biden would say, shoot the knife out of her hand.
Yeah, shoot the knife out of her hand.
Of course, it was right by the other girl's face, so that probably
Remember that
wouldn't have been
movie
so good.
Wanted with Angelina Jolie, where they could curve the bullet around objects
yes.
and hit the people? People think, well, why didn't she just curve the bullet? I mean that would have been the simple thing to do.
Yeah.
So Kenny, what would you have done? You would use Krav Maga, right? You would have lunged at him.
If you were the person in pink.
Okay, so the person in pink, the girl in pink, it's interesting because in Krav Maga you use a person's natural reaction. So if someone's coming at you with a knife, the natural reaction would be to cover your head, the vital areas, head, chest, and also you'd cover your body here, right?
Covering your knife.
Exactly here. Now, but if I was trained, as soon as she wielded the knife, it would have been either I would have ran,
Right?
Yeah.
or I would have done something to change her mind.
Right. But you had 9 seconds.
Punch, throw,
But
go.
now you're the cop shows up on the scene.
So now you're the cop and you see a knife going like this.
Yeah.
You're gonna shoot.
Yeah, shoot.
And you know it in his mind, because of what was going on at the time, the verdict was being basically read. So this white cop is thinking, man, I'm damned if I do,
I think
damned if I
every
don't.
cop faces that situation. I think they roll up on the scene thinking, I'm just going to say it, I hope no black people are involved. Because like you were just saying, I'm damned if I do, and I'm damned if I don't.
Yeah. So, split second, he sees a knife going after somebody. He's trained to save a life.
Right.
So,
And you know what? And really, the skill level
oh, yeah, you said that before.
to be able to do that
Without hurting the other girl.
without hurting the other girl in that split second, draw, do what he's supposed to do, it's pretty impressive.
And this was on the news, but the girl in pink, she reached out to the officer and said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, but that's not going to make the news.
You're not going to hear that. So, of course, this is what you get now. You get the protesters out there basically say her name, right? Say her name. That all started way back with Michael Brown, right?
Yeah, which was, like you always say, based on a false narrative.
Yeah, yeah. Never put his hands up. He actually charged the cop after he tried to steal his gun. Look at this little girl. So in the same state, in Ohio,
Right.
in a different part of the state, this little girl was stabbed to death by another 13-year-old girl. Now, they both were black. Now, of course, if the person who killed her was white, we probably would have seen that on all the news. Did you know this story or until I brought it up to you?
No.
Yeah.
I had to go look it up, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the news because, like you said, it doesn't fit the narrative. You have two black girls stab each other. BLM can't make any money off of it, so don't put it out there.
Yep. So this little 13-year-old was killed by another 13-year-old. Crickets. Unless you, like we said, we looked it up in the Cincinnati or the Ohio newspapers. Was it a huge story on CNN or any of those? Nope.
No.
Oh.
And this is sad. I'm just going to say this, like, all across America, now we're the biggest metropolitan city close to us is Los Angeles. There are policemen who are showing up in droves, putting their badge on the desk and saying, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. And and who's that going to affect? It's not going to affect LeBron James, who lives in Beverly Hills. It's not going to offend Oprah, who lives in these palatial estates. It's going to offend people in the predominantly low-income black communities when you take the police out of that area.
Yep.
And the thing that we need to focus on isn't, we need some police reform. Like you guys still go to chiropractic
Well, you can
classes.
always perform. You can always improve things.
Improve your skill level. But the
Yeah.
biggest problem is that no one wants to talk about is that fatherless black homes.
Yeah.
That 70% of all black children today are born in fatherless homes. That's where we need to address.
And when did that change?
Oh, with the welfare.
1960s.
Yeah, with the welfare state, we told women here, you can marry the welfare system. Let's take the man out of the household, and that's where everything just started falling apart.
Yeah. And that story continues to today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Men we're almost not even necessary.
yeah,
We're toxic. We're this. Just us breathing, we're toxic.
yeah. Well, now you're mansplaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't do that.
Yeah. Well,
Don't
can't
mansplain.
win. It's a damn shame.
It is a damn shame.
Yeah.
Because
It really is.
And if you look at the stats, they're if you guys haven't seen these stats, whether it's black or white, Hispanic or Asian, kids who are born in fatherless homes 5 times more likely to go into poverty, 9 times more likely to drop out of high school, and 20 times more likely to be incarcerated. People just kind of minimize the impact of having a father in the home, and it's showing up in all these major cities.
So we wanted to point out this story. If you didn't hear about the 13-year-old, a couple things. The girl was charged. The 13-year-old was charged. And then, as you see from this clip, this person says that in the Ma'Khia Bryant story, the officer reacted as he was trained. So you're not going to see that if you turn on CNN. All they're going to show is the protests. They're probably burning, right? I tried to,
Yeah,
turn
I
it
haven't
on.
seen it.
Probably cities burning.
Well, you know what? Ibram Kendi, he had to speak out on
Oh,
it.
God.
And said, had this been in a white suburban area, the situation would have been handled differently. If any police officer listening, if anyone comes at me with a Michael Myers-sized knife, shoot them in the ass. Please. Regardless of race.
Yeah, and Ibram X. Kendi still doesn't like the facts when they show year after year that more unarmed white people are actually shot by cops than black, and they say, well, there's more white people in this country. Yeah, but not interactions with police.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you got to look at all of the stats.
But this is important. We should and this is really important, we should figure out what did LeBron James have to say about this.
Oh, God.
Because he is the barometer for what all things right and wrong are based on.
He put an hourglass with the cop's picture that did this and said, "You're next."
You're next.
That's what he did.
Wow. How is that not a threat?
It is a threat.
Thank
He
you,
took it
Ken.
down.
Yeah.
He took it down, but he didn't apologize for putting it up there. He just said he didn't want to stoke any more, tension. It's like,
Right.
Okay, whatever. LeBron.
Well, the NFL made Drew Brees apologize for his statement. The poor kid for the Orlando Magic who stood for the national anthem, he got reprimanded by the NBA. Nothing happened to King James. Not a slap on the wrist.
Of course not.
Not a fine. Don't sit out a game. He is free to do as he wants.
But that leads me to our last topic. King James, who makes how many millions?
More than all of us.
Yes, times 1,000. He plays the victim.
Oh, yeah. I've
Plays
never
the
seen
victim.
an oppressed billionaire.
Yeah.
And that's what the victim mentality is so prevalent right now. And it does not just black victimhood, woman victimhood, trans victimhood. You have to play the victim card. Of course, I can't. I guess I can a little. I can use a little bit of Jewish victimhood. I can, but obviously we run the studios, as Cedric always says. So, I guess we run.
If you
the
go on our
narrative.
Instagram account, I will show you the background of all the stuff that goes. When Kenny walked in, Kenny's like, "What the heck is going on in here?" Cedric?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm used to it, Kenny.
I got to try to make him look good. But I wanted to ask Kenny, how do you feel? I mean, we're all around the same age. Me and Kenny are the same age. When did you have to start feeling like a victim?
It's interesting that you asked me that. I was in chiropractic school, and there's a group that goes out to the black community to teach them more about health and chiropractic, and so they were starting a student chapter, and so I was approached that they wanted me to be the vice president of this organization. I said, okay, well, what are we going to do? There's going to be outreach to the black community. We're going to have, and I'm okay with that, I'm good with that. We're going to have our own section in the library, and I started to question, and we're gonna set up, we're gonna have separate meetings with the counselors, and we're gonna have our own study groups. And I said to her, that's starting to sound like segregation. Mm-hmm. So we're segregating ourselves. I said, wait a minute. So as a student of this college, aren't you allowed to use the library? Well, yes. You can go to the counselors anytime. Of course you can. Aren't you allowed to join any study group you want? Yes. Then why would we need our own?
And that happened back then. That was in what, the 90s?
That was the late 80s.
Wow.
And I said, why would you do that to yourself?
We're trying to create unity.
Oh. But so, and it's an interesting point, being chiropractors. We've dissected a human body. Mm-hmm. You make that first cut, which is a little tough to do, but once you get past the skin, it all looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You can't tell.
For those of you who are still watching this, Brian just said something completely inappropriate that has been edited out.
It was probably one of the first times that I got a notion, that mindset, that victim mentality.
Mm-hmm. That you have to be put in a different box.
That you have to. Why would you put yourself in a box to begin with?
I know. We talked about that with Martin Luther King. He tried to get rid of that, and everybody now is like going against his.
Right.
His teaching was don't judge people by the color of skin, and now everybody's saying nope. Like Kenny just said, we got to put you in this box in this study group. Did you think we get to the point now that colleges have separate graduation?
No.
Is that ridiculous?
No. And you can't even talk these things that we talk about.
No. I know.
And it's fine. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but like I said, we were just in Nashville, and I think a couple of the bars that we went to, it was me and you.
It was.
That was it.
It was.
You two what?
It's a conversation between us. Don't worry yourself about it.
I wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand. But the beers cost the same. People came up, said, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" We cheered. We put arms around each other. We
danced.
It was.
In Kenny's case, he drank out of somebody's straw.
Oh, no, that was a whole nother thing. You didn't need to bring that up. I got checked.
What he does?
But because someone else asked me about Nashville, and I said, well, I mean, it was fun. I was with 5 other couples. It was a great time. Incredible music and food and drinks and cigars. And I don't know if it's just Nashville itself, because that's my first time there, but it seemed like people were just so happy to be amongst other people.
Yeah.
It was just connection. It had nothing to do with color of skin, because people came from all over, and there were all kinds and I didn't have one inkling of any of that.
You weren't scared for your life every time you walked out the hotel room?
A little bit.
LeBron said he's scared every time.
Every time he walks out of the room.
Every time he walks out, he's
We're going to get gunned down.
What do you say there's a 50, that Chelsea Handler, black people have a 50-50 chance of getting shot when they leave their house.
Oh my God. So, no, none of that.
None of that?
None of that.
So,
The only time I didn't feel weird about being black. Every now and then, me and Brian would go to this bar where the person performing would like shout to the crowd like, "Hey, tell me where you're from." I had no problem with being black. I had a problem saying I was from California.
And you notice I said Idaho.
yeah, you live in Idaho now.
I was like, I'm not with these.
Right? I'm not with these Californians.
Fruits and nuts in California.
Right?
No.
Oh,
He
shit.
just moved to Idaho a couple
Come
years
on,
ago.
3 years ago.
Was it
gonna
3
own it.
now?
He's gonna
Okay.
own it.
But you know what? California, when we grew up
That was the place.
in the 70s, was so different than
It's a different California now.
Yeah.
This is not. I come back here and it's familiar, but it's not home.
Yeah.
Did you see it's going around TikTok? There was I think it was a young black male who was interviewing a cop, and he had the nerve and audacity to ask him. He goes, "Are you gonna shoot me like you did Ma'Khia Bryant?" The cop had the best response, and you got to watch this TikTok.
What'd he say?
He basically said, "Are you gonna try and stab someone like Ma'Khia Bryant?"
Yeah.
And he got out. Like, that's a great response. He said,
Yeah.
"If you don't do anything that's gonna cause me to shoot you, we're good.
Yeah.
If you go sideways and start acting a damn fool, you might catch a bullet in the ass."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what-
But
that's
that's
what
what-
Cedric says all the time. Comply.
Comply.
That's it.
And it's a shame that's happened, but you take if you take all these, you take Jacob Blake, you take Michael Brown, you take Breonna Taylor, you take Dante Can't Get Right, George Floyd, the black man who threw out the Mostel cocktail and stuff like that. If they had all complied, today if I got pulled over, I've known Kenny a little bit now. I have a hard time believing I would see Kenny's name in the news as a cop doing something to him, because like, "Yeah, sir, here's my license, here's my registration, here it is in the glove compartment, can I get it out?" Once you start going south on the cops, you run that risk of catching a bullet.
Yeah. Half of my family, my cousins and my uncle, were all police officers. So you learn very quickly, okay, just put your hands up and the things. Hey, my registration is in here. So it's interesting. It's interesting because in Idaho, it's a constitutional carry state. So you can carry. So a buddy of mine got pulled over. He had his Glock right next to him. Gets pulled over in the morning. The cop says, "Hey, you were speeding. You're in a hurry." And he goes, "Oh, boy, as long as you leave that gun right there, we won't have a problem." No problem.
There it is.
That's how it's supposed to
Yeah.
be. I mean, now, and as you know, as a police officer, one of the most dangerous things you could do is a traffic stop.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Brian, because you grew up in Costa Mesa, did your dad have the black get pulled by the police talk with you, or was it just?
I never had that talk.
Okay, all right. Because out here in California, I have a lot of friends who say you have to pray for your black children differently. You have to have a black get pulled by the police talk that's differently. The talk I had with my son was like, be respectful. Put your hands at 10 and 2 and comply.
Yeah. No, I never had that talk. Later on, I had a house in Newport, and long story, but I ended up, my brother ruined my truck, so I took his truck. My brother-in-law. It was a little Chevy S10, lowered in the weeds, purple wheels, like, okay, I'm taking it, I'm driving it. So I back out of my driveway, I'm cruising down the street, woo, I get pulled over. I'm like, I happen to have a pool cue in the back, in a case, and he's like, "Yeah, what's that?" I'm like, "That's a pool cue." But that was one instance while I didn't do anything particularly wrong. I just didn't look right. So I do understand that there are.
But you could have gone south on him, and that story could end up completely differently.
Yeah, I complied, gave my license. I live right here, and it went away. So
Yeah. Now Brian got pulled over in Compton, and I'm just gonna say this: it doesn't look right. You're in Compton, you're in South Central. People are gonna pull him over and say, "That doesn't look right." Is it right? But I think we've all created this narrative now that we judge. We all judge.
Yeah, well, we're not blind.
Yeah. And then you see something that looks a little askew, a little out of place, you question it.
All right, and just to add to that, have you been in jail?
No.
Have you been in jail?
Wait a minute. Have I? I don't know.
Kenny and I have not been in jail.
I'm the white guy, and I'm the only one that spent a night in jail. So.
I don't think I have.
Wow.
Wait.
How much drugs did you do?
Wait. Did I? I don't know. Hey, you know what? That's just old age. That's just,
You're forgetting everything.
I don't remember that stuff.
Speaking of old age, we want to thank our sponsors. Kenny started using it just after watching Cedric and Brian.
Nashville.
All right, so
we're gonna wrap this up soon.
Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Kenny's out here from Idaho, since he doesn't live here in California anymore.
I'm an Idahoan.
That's right. He's a hoe.
You the hoe?
I'm a hoe.
Nice.
And we wanted to get him on the show. He's been wanting to get on the show, so we were happy to have you. Hopefully, when you come back, we can do another topic with you.
Thanks for having me, man.
And that's when
you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good. I mean, this gap, this space between us, it's a good thing.
Okay.
It's a really good thing. I'm sorry you had to do that.
That's all right.
But, I just want to end this real quick. It's like there's a saying out there that says when it comes to black people, POCs, there's the hard bigotry of low expectations. It's gone even further now. Now it's the hard bigotry of no expectations. They say as long as you're a POC, you're a person of color, you're black, there's no expectations. And it's really going to hurt the black community when all the police are taken out of those areas and there's no one there to police. That's when stuff is really going to hit the fan. And that's a damn shame.
Yep. All right. Thanks again, Kenny. Good seeing you.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed that show. We didn't say it earlier, but make sure you get your hats. You can get your Cedric and Brian swag, your hats, your camo, the red, the blue. Again, we have diversity of colors in our hats. We got to make sure Kenny gets one.
Yeah.
And until next time, I'm Cedric.
And I'm Brian. See you later. No, I get that one.
I guess the black one.
We should have the two black ones. Oh, yes.
Racial diversity.
Oh, gotcha.
You guys ready?
And was first elected in office. They've gone back a long way. You ruined my whole flow. Damn it. Take 30.
Thank you, studio is this.
This isn't our studio anymore. We're going to go through the history of... Call the dog!
This is just so low budget.
What did I get myself into here?
You gotta put the blooper reel on this one.
Okay. Damn animals. We're going to the history.
I'm not an animal.
You didn't do the like, subscribe, but that's all right.
I did in the beginning.
Yeah. All right. Good.
But once you get past the skin, it all looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You can't tell.
Right.
And so we're...
I'll tell you
arguing-
down to the penis.
Well, that part too.
Edit.
He had to go there. So,
You were thinking it.
Edit.
so...
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, no.